In this video, I'm going to show you how to add blog posts to your website homepage in Squarespace. Shout out to Jennifer who asked this question. She wanted to be able to add selected blog posts to her website homepage in Squarespace. Today, I'm going to show you a few different things. First, how to get those blog posts to show up on your homepage. Second, how to style them and your options there without code. Third, I'm going to show you how to select which blog posts actually show up on the homepage because we do have some control over that. And fourth, stick around because I'm going to show you a little hack that makes AI tools, LLMs, like your website a little better. If we haven't met, I'm Christy Price. I'm a Squarespace expert and educator. If you haven't grabbed my Squarespace pre-launch checklist yet, I'll add a link up top somewhere and also in the description below so you can grab that. If you're a web designer, grab my web designer's toolkit. I'll drop a link below for that as well. All right, we are here in my Scribe Squarespace template for authors, and you can see it has some sections on the homepage, but it does not have any blog posts. Does in fact have a blog. So if we go to the blog page, we can see there are 4 posts that I have set up here with a title, an excerpt, and a read more link and an image. So if we click into that, there's a placeholder for each of these. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into edit mode on our Squarespace website. So I've logged in to the configuration, the back end of my Squarespace website. I am on my website homepage and I'm going to click edit. Now, the first thing that you want to do is add a new section for those blog posts to show up. And I'm going to actually do that the last section before the footer here. You can move it around later if you want to just drop it in anywhere. And I'm going to add a blank section. Now, once your section is there, we're going to add a new block. And the block that we're going to add is called a summary block. This lets us add collection information to a different page. And this could be blog posts. It could be e-commerce products. And you can see here, it's putting in some placeholder information for me. What we're going to do is we're going to actually add our blog posts first, style it. Then I'm going to show you how to select which blog posts actually show up here. All right, so you can add other stuff to this section as well. And so one of the things I like to do typically is add some text. And I'm going to make this heading 2 and just call this recent blog posts. There we go. And now what I'm going to do is in this summary block, I'm going to double click and it's going to let me select a page. Now this is where I will select my blog. There are other things that will show up here. If you have other collections that you could add here, that's where you select what you want to add. I'll be adding my blog, and you can see sometimes weird stuff happens. It moved this down. I'm going to move it back up. I'm going to double click here to shorten this up. And you'll see that for each of these blog posts, I have the title, I have the excerpt, and I have the date. Now let me show you something you can do here. One of the things to be aware of is you can see that all of these thumbnails are not created equal, right? This one is a little bit taller. So let's go in and we're going to go back and go into the design. Right now it is a wall, which means that it's going to fill things in the way it thinks they should be filled in terms of sizes for the images. There's also the option of a carousel, a list, or a grid. So I like the list if you're going to be doing horizontal thumbnails like this. Landscape orientation works really well here. But if you're going to be doing a portrait style image, I actually really like the carousel. And you can set it so that 3 items show up, 3 items per row. So it actually will show just the last 3. I'm going to show you how to adjust this to show specific posts later on. But what you can do, make sure that 3 items are showing 3 items per row. If you add more, it's going to add little arrows here so you can scroll through them. So you can absolutely do that. And here's where you change the aspect ratio of the image. So I can make the taller images that I like for this particular template. Now, a couple of other things you can do here. You can change the text size. However, this only affects the title. It doesn't affect the excerpt. There's no way to change that without code. You can also center, right align, or left align your text. And you can add in some header text here. So you could say featured posts, but I like to do it outside in a text block, as you see here. Now, underneath here, we have some options. We can include the title. Definitely recommend that. Include the featured image. I like that. Include the excerpt. I think this is great. And you can also do a read more link if you would like, but I find people will just click through automatically and it's just kind of cluttery. Your metadata content can be the category or tag or date. You can place that where you would like it to go. I often prefer them above the title. You can turn on a background here if you want to give it some background, color it, add an outline to it, make the corners rounded if you want, change the padding. I'm not going to do a background. I think it looks great just like it is. Let's go ahead and go back to content. And you'll notice here, I have an option to filter items. Now, I don't have any categories or tags or featured posts for this blog yet. Those are things I set up in the actual post. So I'm going to hop over to the blog, show you how to do that, and come back and show you how to select which blog posts show up here. Let's go ahead and hit save and exit. I'm going to hop into the blog. And for each of these posts, if you click the three dots to the right and go into settings, this is where you can add tags or categories or make this a featured item. So if we go into options, we can turn on featured post and we can add any tags or categories. In Squarespace, tags and categories are really both just used for organizational purposes. The way I like to think about it is categories are maybe 3 to 7 large buckets that each of your blog posts would fall into, and tags are more granular designations that you want to give your posts. So for example, if I was a financial advisor, my categories might be savings, taxes, budgets, and my tags might be things like women's finance, 401ks, retirement planning for seniors, things like that. So you can see that the categories are broad, tags are more granular, and each post can have both. Now, total transparency, I really don't worry about tags. Unless you need them for categorization, I find that they're not really worthwhile. I just focus on categories and I use that for categorization as one would. So for this example, you could do this under tags, but I'm going to set up categories. And for this one, I'm going to call it writing and go back. So now I have a category that I forgot. This is a gotcha. You type it in and you have to hit return so it shows up here. And I forget that every time. So now when I go back, you'll see it here. I forgot it the first time. I'm going to save that. I'm going to skip planning for travel. I'm going to go to blog post title here with this image. And I'm going to also add that to the writing category. And you can see if I start typing it, it will select it for me. I hit save. And then the lady at the desk blog post, I'm going to go in and do the same thing for. So I can have my category writing here and save. Now, before we go back, remember finding your strengths had a featured item turned on. And 3 of our 4 posts had category writing, but this one did not. So let's go ahead and go back now to our home page. Let's go ahead and click edit, scroll down. Here we go. And one of the things as I'm scrolling down, I'll notice these are both on white backgrounds and it looks kind of weird. So one of the things I'm going to do here is just change the background of this so it stands out a little more and looks separate from the section above it. All right, now what we can do, double click this summary block and we're going to go into filter items. We have a category now. You can see this was grayed out before, and now I can go to writing and it's going to select the 3 writing categories. So if I go back to none, you'll see it changes what's here. Now, if I turn on featured only, I only get the first post. If I had more featured posts, those would show up as well. Regardless of whether you're using featured or categories or both, we'll show these in reverse chronological order from newest to oldest. Just be aware of that. We can also show our metadata here. You can see it has date posted here. I can put this as the category. So if I was doing featured posts, for example, and I wanted the category to show up, I could do that. And you can also add a secondary metadata, so you could have the category and the date or the tag or the author, whatever you want to have here. There are lots of options. But one of the things that I would encourage you to do that I realized recently is that the date shown here gives an indication of freshness to AI crawlers that are visiting your site. So if you want to show up in LLMs, in ChatGPT, Claude, that sort of thing, go ahead and leave on the date posted metadata for the summary block. And I have another video on that I'll link to at the end if you want to see why I'm recommending that. It was because of a Framer AEO scanner that I tried out, and I'll show you how to do that on your own website. Again, I'll add that video at the end of this video so you can jump right into it. But for now, you have added blog posts to your website homepage. I'm going to go ahead and hit save here. And that's all there is to it. It's basically a summary block. Use some tags, categories, or a feature post to organize it, and it will pull directly from your blog onto your homepage or wherever you add this section. Thanks so much for watching, and I wish you all the best with your website.